covered this before. This is the Native American color wheel. It represents the four colors of the world and the guardianship of these nations. So Adam means red, was given the ownership, the guardianship of the earth. Yellow, the air. White, fire. The black nations was given the waters. So we broke covenant, so our lands were taken from us. So we're in the year of the Jubilee, so the lands returned right back to the red nations. That's why they're going after the red nations so bad. ICE is going after us, even in our own lands. We have national guards in our territories like Puerto Rico, Venezuela. Now Trump is feuding with Colombia, Venezuela. They're sending Cubans to Mexico. All this, even though that the cartel is run by the same people, the governments of the world, and the Catholic Church, the Vatican. CIA means Catholics in action. This is just another way to grab our lands, kill our people, and enslave our people all over again. So this is what's happening right now. Also, I want you to know that maritime laws, because the Vatican holds the birth certificate and our social security that has us in bondage, goes to the Vatican that sits on the waters. And who was the ones that established these religions? The original people that were behind these religions were the Black Moors. That's why they have a head of a Moor on the Papal crest, because they were in charge of the waters, the marine kingdom, and these are maritime laws. What happened was that the wild man took over the kingdom of the Moors, and then they rewrote history and whitewashed history. But the originators of all these religions, these Abrahamic religions, were actually Black Moors. And the Moors were Muslims and they worship Allah. The Rothschilds and the Rockefeller run this system. So Rothschilds, Esau was red child, and Rockefeller, the fellow with the rock, Peter, the rock. So that is your religion. So they're the ones behind all of this. And they work together with the House of London. And we're a colony still under England today.
Follow what I'm going to tell you. There are two kinds of law on the earth. One is called civil law, which is the law of the land, and one is called maritime admiralty, which is called the law of water. The maritime admiralty is banking law, and the law on the maritime admiralty says that you, because you came out of your mother's water, are a maritime admiralty product. This is why the ship is sitting in its berth and is tied to the dock, and the captain has to give a certificate of manifest to the port authority, because money is changing hands. This is why when you were born, you have to have a birth certificate. And it's got to be signed by the dock, because that's where the ship is tied to, is the dock. So the dock signs your birth certificate. Why? Because you came down out of your mother's water. You came down her birth canal. You are a maritime admiralty product. And therefore, your birth certificate is signed by your mother. And where your mother signed on the birth certificate, get it, you will see it does not say parent or mother. It says informant. Your mother was informing the bank that she has just produced another product to be bought and sold. England, the British Crown, through international banking, owns your physical body, and that's the law. So the bottom line is that you are a maritime admiralty product, and therefore the banks own your body.
After 2 days,
when you talk about the Pope represents God. When you talk about the really dark criminal stuff that's going on in the earth, you're talking the Vatican. You're talking the Knights of Malta, which gave us the 6 men who founded the CIA in America, were all Catholics. When you begin to look at the banking fraternities in America, like the Bank of America, Union Bank in California, all of these people who founded these banks and today are running the banking establishment are all Knights of Malta, Catholic Masonry. You need to remember that for at least 2,300 years, Rome has dominated Europe, and the Vatican dominates all of Europe. All the kings and rulers in Europe rule by the divine right. What are you talking about? Who represents divine to give the king the right? The Pope. The Pope appoints certain families to be over the French. The Pope appoints certain people to be over the Germans and over the British. And so by divine right. Why? Because the Pope represents God.
the Pope without these family members in the background. Pallavicini, Orsini, Farnese, Borgia, Borghese, Aldobrandini. If you punch in Google Islam and then Pallavicini family, you will see who is running Islam. It's a Roman Empire, Italian, Persian family called Pallavicini. And when you break that word down, it means those who are close to Allah. Guarantee you 100%, brother, they run everything.
And those families are also the ones that are the original Illuminati, right?
Yep, and their names are not their real names. Those are corporate names. Queen Elizabeth, she is an Orsini, but when you look at her lineage, you will see many other names. Well, those are corporations which come under the Maximum family, which is the Orsini family. They are the Maxima. They hold most of the power.
Would you claim that the Orsini family are more powerful than the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers?
The Rothschilds are Orsini.
Yeah, but didn't the Rothschilds change their name from Bauer originally?
Yeah, that's true. Bauer is another corporate name. Remember, your surname is a corporate name, which is copyrighted by the Vatican.
If you're all of this that I've been talking about, you want to trace back all the wars and bloodshed and all the corruption going on around the world. People talk about the Jewish conspiracy, the Jews, this and the Jews. No. Like everything else, it's just a front.
Right.
You want to go back to the people who are really doing this stuff all around the world to us, the Vatican. You can bet on it. That's why Hollywood is making movies like this last thing. What was it with Angels and Demons and Da Vinci Code? And they're talking about the Vatican and all the occult stuff. Let me tell you something. Rome has been ruling Europe for almost 2,300 years. The Vatican has been ruling Europe for at least 1,600 years. All of the royalty and celebrities and royalty of Europe are royalty. They rule by divine right, right? Well, where do you get the divine right from? You get it from the Holy Father. God didn't give you any divine right. Nobody's talked to God lately. You don't need to talk to God. The Vatican will decide if you are one of their boys. And if you're one of their boys, the Pope will then, bless you with like they did Michael Corleone and the Godfather 3 and with the sword and all that kind of thing. And now you are divinely appointed. By who? By the Pope. The people at the Vatican. And the Vatican represents a very powerful secret society that's been in operation in the Roman Empire long before the Vatican ever existed. It's referred to as a Sun Order. S-U-N, the Sun Order.
Going back to Egypt.
It's going back to Egypt, absolutely.
Right.
And so the sun was always represented as an eagle. The eagle always represented the sun.
The Horus. The eagle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The hawk or the eagle.
Yeah.
Now eagles only have two wings, left wing and right wing. So that's why you always have a division between the left wing and right wing in politics and religion, because you need 2 feet.
Yeah.
You need to walk through this world on 2 feet.
Well, it is such a pleasure to meet you. It comes as a small token of esteem and appreciation.
Red and blue. So the Vatican holds the deeds to all our lands. And that's the reason they want to continue to hold our lands, because that's how they have us enslaved through this system. Now, the new system, because the old system is crashing, the new system of enslaving people is going to be an enslavement through AI. So in order for these bankers to keep on enslaving humanity, they need to continue to have our lands. And like I said, the red nations have ownership of the lands, and that's the reason they're hunting down Adam, for Adam means red.
The Jesuits are bad guys, and somehow they seem to be the rudder for the Catholic Church. They infiltrate and they influence and they misdirect and they pervert the Catholic Church and any place they go. The Jesuits were involved in the overthrow and the murders of millions of civilians in Central America. They were involved in all those overthrows and revolutions and everything, and it was to depopulate. And not only were they setting up civil wars that killed the young men, But when those were over, they would go in and just assassinate women and children so that a replacement population was not produced by the women to replace the young men who'd been killed in the Civil War. And it does go all the way to the top, which is the Habsburg dynasties, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and the Holy Roman Empire. That's what the Habsburgs represent. And they're the ones at the top. Queen Elizabeth works for them, the Pope works for them, and they're running this with the help of the Jesuits.
Feud between Trump and the cartel just got real. And it seemed like Trump is not playing no games, bruh. I will advise everybody in Mexico that's a U.S. citizen to get the fuck up out of there. Because at this point, everything seemed to be unpredictable. All I know is, this man just said he will kill them. Dead. This shit crazy, fool. Listen.
And Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead.
Y'all heard what he said. I need y'all thoughts down below in the comments.
Given any more thought to possibly suspending habeas corpus to not only deal with these insurrectionists across the nation, but also to continue rapidly deporting illegal aliens?
Yeah, suspending who?
Habeas corpus. So,
I don't know. I'd rather leave that to Christie. What do you think?
No, sir, I haven't been a part of any discussions on that.
Listen, no matter how you feel about me, if you've been following me for at least 4 or 5 months, one thing you're going to have to admit is I've made some calls that have turned out to be true. And I am here to say that if this man suspends habeas corpus, it is over. The fact that he reacted like that, and the fact that journalists are bringing up, the fact that I've made a video about this in the past, the fact that it's been spoken about, and the fact that the president doesn't even know what the fuck it is means it's definitely going to go through. It's going to land on his table, on his desk. He's going to look at it. He's going to go, habeas corpus. He's going to, if he signs if they suspend habeas corpus, it is over. If you don't know what habeas corpus is, it is Latin. It means to bring forth the body, not corpse, to bring forth the body. Basically, it is a law, or I don't know what they call it, law. It's something in the legal system that forces the United States government, or stops the United States government from kidnapping people. So, a writ of habeas corpus, if you file a writ of habeas corpus in court, the government are forced to come forth to bring you to court. They're forced to bring you to court. They're forced to disclose your whereabouts. They have no choice. They have to do it. The writ of habeas corpus. That's what it is. It's enshrined in the legal system. If Donald Trump suspends writ of habeas corpus, that means ICE can come and pick up anybody and know what can you do. Tell me how. That was the one thing that was going to force, that you could use the courts to force the government to do something about it. Now, if habeas corpus is suspended and masked men come and start picking up American citizens on the streets, what's your next move? Like, what can you do? I'm talking legally. Legally. What can you do? Habeas corpus, if it is suspended, the United States government can officially kidnap any American citizen off the streets, and they don't have to disclose where you are, and they can take you indefinitely.
Sniper up a roof, and he was just like standing, ready to shoot cars. And then what else? I saw helicopters flying, one helicopter and a car, and also soldiers.
And what did you see? What else happened?
I saw my mom with handcuffs, and it got me scared, and I saw soldiers, and all of the people went on the track, and they had to cancel it, and I was shaking, and then my arms was shaking, my arms, my legs, and then I started crying.
they're like, get out of the truck, get out of the truck. And then I was sitting down in my truck, and then they pulled out a gun, and they're like, get out of the truck. So that, of course, I'm gonna comply when a gun is to my pointed at me. And then they tackle my mom, start kicking her, punching her. She has her ribs are all bruised, shoulders bruised, everything. Tell her, point a gun to her head, say that they're gonna blow her head off. And they get everyone's groups formed, like with their family. They cuff everyone besides the little kids. And I have bruises from them.
Yeah.